This chapter 9 is called Just Don't Give Them Any Money. Oh my God, it is so beautiful here. It's amazing. I see God everywhere. It's so beautiful. And Swamiji, he is so beautiful. It's all just so beautiful. I cooed through the phone lines to my mom and dad. Frank, who began as my stepfather when I was 7, quickly became all things dad, and finally legally adopted me when I was 19. Although the internet existed and we had email in California, neither Rishikesh, the holy city in India which I'm staying, nor most of India had it yet. I had promised my parents I'd call once a week on Sunday evening, which would be Sunday morning for them. My mom's stress threshold regarding my health and safety is seriously low. Even today, as I cross 50, she always wants travel itineraries and text messages as I take off and safely land. I think I started this chapter with a kind of sarcastic reading of her exposition of the beauty, but I'm sure she actually means it. So, once a week, I would call and assure them I was all right. The same arrangement we'd had when Jim and I spent a year in Ecuador. Mom could make it a week anchored in her own resources of comfort, but on the 7th day, she needed to reconnect to be sure I was okay. I had called from Delhi the first Sunday after we arrived. We'd seen the Red Fort, Delhi's most iconic monument. It was huge, but to me not that interesting. I was much more intrigued by the crowd that gathered amphitheater style, squatting and unabashedly watching me take photos, a not uncommon experience for foreign tourists in India. And I'd found a cup of real coffee overlooking Connaught Circle. The second Sunday I called from Rishikesh during my mystical intoxication with Ganga, the holy river. I see God everywhere, I babbled on, but my inebriation over the divinity of a river seemed innocuous enough to them. Mom knew I loved nature and always connected profoundly with mountains and trees, so for me to blather on about the divinity of a river didn't set off any alarm bells, especially since I was staying in a hotel with my husband. But now I had moved into the ashram and was had uninterrupted days of ecstasy. It was Sunday, and time to call again. Oh my God, was all I could say to describe the last week. I met the president, the guru there, Swamiji, and he is amazing. He is so divine. Everything is just so beautiful. I see God everywhere, and Ganga. Oh my God. Jim? Oh yeah, he's great. He's gone to the mountains. Yes, I'm here alone, but not so alone. I'm with God. It was too much for them. I was not just cooing harmlessly about a river while staying with my husband in a hotel. I had now moved into an ashram while staying with and my husband had gone off alone to the mountains, and I couldn't put together a coherent sentence. Something had to be done. Looking back years later, I realized that when we have a spiritual experience, we forget that the rest of the world has not had the same experience with us. When day becomes night, it is dusk for everyone, so to refer to the oncoming darkness is understandable. When night becomes day, it happens for all too. But when darkness becomes light inside of us, the experience doesn't automatically include others who are in our life. The veil over my eyes had been lifted, but the vision I had was within my consciousness, my energetic connection to the universe, not in everyone's. Mom and Frank were clearly not experiencing what I was. It's so beautiful, I kept exclaiming on auto repeat. My parents said nothing to alarm me, nor did they hint that I had alarmed them. Only later did I learn that they had considered flying to India to rescue me. I called my friend in Pune, my mom later explained, and I told him that my daughter had been kidnapped and brainwashed by a cult and we needed to free her from them. I will bring the cult deprogrammers, I told him, but you need to get the Indian police because I didn't know whether they'll become violent when we try to rescue her. Her Indian friend was, of course, quite concerned, both for me and for the reputation of his country, and assured my mom he would do everything to help. However, he said, "You have to give me the name of the ashram and the Swami so I can inform the police. They will need specifics." "I don't know the Swami's name," my mom said, "only that he is the head of Parmart Niketan Ashram, which is where she is now staying in Rishikesh." "Okay," her friend said, "give me a few hours to get back to you." Later that day, her friend called her back. My mom's voice began to crack as she told me this part of the story. It happened during Frank's 65th birthday celebration in 2011, 15 years after that babbling phone call from Rishikesh. And Swamiji was present in our backyard in Los Angeles with all my parents and their closest friends as they gathered together. He said, "If that Swami gives your daughter permission to stay at the ashram, it'll be a blessing not only to her, but to your entire family for generations to come." In typical disregard for rules she doesn't agree with, my mom leaned over and gave Swamiji a big hug. "Thank you for blessing her and all of us," she said. But in the fall of 1996, she was not yet appreciative. Her friend's reassuring phone call was enough to postpone her scheme to bring deprogrammers from LA to India and to know that I was at least physically safe. "Whatever you do, don't give them any money," she pronounced, finally on the phone, capitulating in a battle I didn't even know had taken place. So, that is her mother's initial and later reaction, and the ending of chapter 9. Just a short chapter. Thank you for listening as we read. I hope you'll join us next time to see how this evolution of a journey occurs for dear Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati.